Welcome in this special commitment edition of On Texas Basketball. My name is Jerry Hamilton. That's CJ Vogel. I think you guys know who that is. That's Bo Ogden. And we're going to talk to him about his commitment to Texas. Before we get to that commitment, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about our sponsor of today's show. That's Texas All-State agent Mark Saunders. Mark Saunders is 35 years of experience in the business. He is a Texas alum. He serves the Austin and Round Rock area and the entire state of Texas. He's the only insurance agent you'll need. Everything from your home, car, and boat to your motorcycle, RV, and ATV. Call Texas All-State agent Mark Saunders' office today, 512-218-8571. All right, Bo Ogden, first of all, congrats on your commitment to Texas. And I'm going to let CJ get the first question in before I start firing away because I got a lot for you, Bo. We've never done one of these interviews before.
No, we haven't. I'm excited. I'm ready.
Well, good deal. We'll start it off. You just made your decision. It was the University of Texas over Purdue, Tennessee, a number of other schools. First off the bat, why Texas?
I really like Coach Miller and, how he coaches, how he teaches, his play style. So I just think it made the most sense. But I think at the end of the day, Coach Miller was my deciding factor.
Good deal. Of course, get to stay close to home as well.
Right. That's a big bonus, definitely.
So you come from a unique position because you get to see Coach Miller work a lot, right? Obviously, being able to go over to the facility. What did Coach Miller in the conversations you had, where did he share about his vision for Texas and how you will fit in his vision at the University of Texas?
They keep saying how this is the new Texas, how we're bringing it to, Final Four level national championship contenders. He sees me being a big contributor of that early. That was a big thing in my recruitment, was wanting to contribute early and as a freshman. So, no, I think he views me very highly. I think that was another big decision, a big factor in my decision. I'm ready to go compete for championships.
Go ahead, TJ.
I was going to say, take us a little bit through your game. 6'5". I got to watch you a little bit today in practice, all over the court. You got a deflection, turn it around right to a nice little breakaway dunk. What's, in your own words, what are your strengths on the floor?
I think I'm a really big guard, so it's very helpful to be bigger, see over guys. I've been really improving my creation and playmaking for others, but I think at the end of the day, I can really shoot. I think I'm really strong, competitive, and I always play hard. So I think those are my biggest things in my game, and I'm ready to bring that to Texas.
Yeah, talk about that shooting, Bo, because obviously I think you made about 158 threes so far in high school, but it was really on the circuit this spring and summer at Adidas 3 SSB. I saw you play a number of times where you led the circuit in three-point shooting. When did you kind of take that next step? You've always been a really good shooter, but it seems like you took a big step this last spring and summer and became, 46, 47, 48% on the circuit over 20 games. So did you see yourself take that next step, whether it's contested, whether it's off the dribble, whatever that was? What was it? When did you see yourself take that next step?
It was definitely this spring was my biggest jump, was over this summer and this AAU spring ball. I think my coaches at ASAC really gave me that freedom. I worked really hard in the spring on my player development. And this summer was really the biggest turning point in my game, where I really started to, have the ball in my hands more. I was always more of an off-ball guy, but I think this summer I really jumped, made a big leap in that area. So, and it just helped me with, especially my ball handling, I think really affected my shooting and really helped me in my shooting, and it's just that confidence. So I think that those were the biggest things that got me to this point.
So what age were you, or when do you remember that you said, okay, this can actually happen for me? I may be a national basketball recruit, a guy that potentially will have a pick of a number of colleges. And for those listening that don't know, made official visits to Texas, Purdue, Tennessee. I had Virginia, Kansas, a number of other schools. Stanford offered you. When did that kind of click for you that, man, this dream might become a reality for me?
I don't know if it was ever like a single moment where it clicked. Like when I was younger, I don't think I was always really good. Like when I was really young, I was really good. And then by the time I got to like 7th, 8th grade, I was more of just a straight shooter. And then I've been really improving my game and trying to get to that next level. I've never really I was never ranked really high early. I was always, lower. I wasn't ranked. And then I started just, working on my game, working on what I can do. And then, by the end, I think it kind of came to fruition. But it wasn't really one moment where I was like, okay, I think I can do this. But I think I believed it all along.
Well, then when was your first dunk?
I got my first dunk in 8th grade.
8th grade.
8th grade.
I'm still waiting on mine, Jerry.
I've had one before, but I couldn't today. My Achilles would go in different directions. All right, so question for you. Do you know who the first commitment for Rick Barnes was when he was hired at Texas?
I've heard. It was my dad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was your
my
dad. And now you're the first commitment for Sean Miller, high school recruit that committed to Texas under Sean Miller. I kind of talk about that because you really come from a unique place, Bo. Your father is the GM of Texas basketball, obviously has a history here, but now the GM of Texas basketball. Talk about going through that process because, I mean, Matt Painter, great basketball coach, right? Rick Barnes, great basketball coach. Talk about going through that process from your perspective because it's different than most kids go through. Like Marcus Shrewsbury at Notre Dame, his son plays at Notre Dame for him. Obviously, he's a head coach. I think Jonathan Sanderson is committed to Notre Dame. His dad's a strength coach. So there are some instances similar to you, but kind of talk about going through that process from your perspective.
Yeah, I think it was really tough going through the process with my dad being at Texas. It wasn't always like, oh, I'm going to go to Texas because my dad's there or anything. I think the coaching staff did a really good job at showing me that they're recruiting me without my dad being there. They would recruit me without him being there. They believe in me. So I think that all three of the schools that I was choosing between, great head coaches. I think all the schools that recruited me, great head coaches, but especially these three that I got down to, I think their play style, everything they do, their program's very high level. And I just think that my relationship with the coaches at Texas and my relationship with the university, with, all my roots, I just think that, it just came down to that. But no, I mean, the process was tough. Definitely the hardest decision I've ever made. But I'm very happy. I'm very happy with it.
Sticking with that real quick, Jerry, I found out that you didn't alert your dad until when? Last night?
I think he found out. Yeah, last night.
Last night
We've kept him in the dark. We've kept him in the dark. Definitely.
How difficult was that?
It was like he was on the Texas side, we were on the other side, so it was like me and my mom, and so it was like we kind of had to keep him in the dark. It's tough, but it's just something you got to do these days.
Dinner table's a little bit more fun now, huh?
Yeah. By the way, now that you're committed to Texas, let's ask this question: what was your first memory of Texas basketball?
I mean, I remember running around the Irwin Center, running around the weight room and stuff. They had a goal with turf down there. I remember running around with the other coaches' kids. We would just play basketball, just mess around, just getting in a little trouble. But it was fun. I really liked it. And, I remember those days, and I'm excited to be the player that was working out on the side when we were over there messing around. So,
hey, so take us a couple other things about your recruiting process I want to get into because you got such a great basketball mind. So when you started this process, were you looking at head coaches? Were you looking at offensive systems? Were you looking at location? Did you even get into the depths about a league and the way it's officiated and how you could fit in a certain league potentially? Where did your recruitment ultimately go? How many things did you actually consider within that recruitment to get to this decision?
I mean, the main thing I was always looking for was play style, how a team plays. I mean, offensively, obviously, because defense is like you either guard or you don't. So, I mean, offensively, that was like really my biggest thing was looking at the play style of the offense, seeing how I would fit in there. And then secondly was just the coaching, the coach's belief in me, how they view me. So those were my two biggest things in this.
You've gotten to know Sean Miller quite a bit. What is something about him that you really like that maybe the Texas fan base doesn't know yet, but they're going to learn as the season starts and they get to know Sean Miller?
He's funny. He's pretty funny. Like he'll say some stuff. He'll do some stuff that I think, it'll get a good laugh. Like you wouldn't expect it. He seems like a very serious guy and he's very competitive, but he'll crack you up everything. He's pretty funny.
I wanted to ask you, you've been to campus a number of times dating back to who knows when, right?
Right.
What was it about visiting Texas and seeing Coach Miller, his staff, and how they conducted themselves on campus? Did that surprise you at all, or what were some of your takeaways in that regard as well?
I think they did a really good job at showing me things that I didn't even know about, especially with I've been around the university longer than they have. Like they just got here in the spring, but I think they did a really good job at, showing me things that we didn't even know as family, me, my mom, everything. So it was like it was a really good visit. I think they did an amazing job. I enjoyed my time. The biggest things were watching the practices. I got to see two of the first official practices. And yeah, I mean, they did a really good job on the visit.
Good deal.
Last thing I have for you, and I ask every football, basketball prospect that comes on this show the same question. I always leave them with this. What is your ultimate goal as a college player? What's your ultimate goal in basketball long term?
Win an NCAA championship with Texas, and then, go win an NBA championship one day in the league. I know, definitely my two goals.
All right, that is Bo Ogden, first Texas commitment. For Sean Miller, top 45 prospect in the country, top 35, depending on where you look. We call them 4-star pluses here. Bo Ogden means you're top 50 guy in the country. For CJ Vogel, I'm Jerry Hamilton. Thanks very much for joining into this special On Texas Basketball Commitment Edition. Bo, congrats, and you got to give everybody a hook 'em on the way out.
Yep, thank y'all. Hook 'em.